If you've ever wondered about the world shaped by an enduring Roman Empire, you'd see something incredible. Its ancient roads were paved with purpose, its aqueducts flowed with fresh water, and its grand temples and public baths stood proud across continents. The force, the discipline, and the sheer efficiency of a civilization so advanced. Imagine a society that built upon its military discipline, city planning, engineering marvels, art, and language. A society that would impact every part of our lives today, from how we speak to how we build. It's intriguing, right? But how different would life be if Rome's golden legacy continued to evolve instead of fading into history? So, let's jump into this world where Rome never fell and look at how it would influence our modern society. Military influence. If the Roman Empire still existed, its military influence would likely be one of its most celebrated achievements. Known for their strict training and precise battle formations, Roman soldiers could hold off massive forces simply by staying organized. Today, we'd probably see militaries worldwide still studying Roman tactics. Instead of history's vast, disorganized battles, we'd witness disciplined, methodical armies. For example, imagine modern soldiers moving in unbreakable formations and shields locked tightly together, like a human wall moving steadily forward. The Roman Empire might even still inspire our police forces, security teams, and emergency responders. In tight, risky situations, trained groups could rely on ancient Roman discipline, keeping their formations solid as they pushed forward. That sense of unity and coordination could change how we manage everything from peacekeeping to urban crime. Then there's the technology. Rome was innovative with its resources, from siege weapons to communication tools. Given time, they might have been among the first to invent early mechanized weaponry. Picture a world where Rome's engineers, driven by a need to protect and expand their empire, created inventions we didn't see until much later, perhaps like rudimentary forms of telegraphs or even early radios. Modern military technology might have evolved much sooner, with Rome leading the charge in global defense and communication advancements. Engineering and infrastructure. Moving from military strength, Rome's engineering was arguably even more impressive. This empire was an architectural wonder, and their influence would make our cities look pretty different if they were still around. The ancient Romans loved organization and efficiency, so imagine modern cities laid out with the same careful attention to detail as the ancient ones. Every major city might be organized with that Roman mindset. Streets would flow logically, public spaces would be functional yet beautiful, and water systems would be top-notch. Take aqueducts, for example. The Romans perfected these to bring fresh water into cities, and their system was so advanced that cities with water shortages today could still benefit from similar designs. If Rome were still in charge, maybe we'd have aqueducts pumping fresh water into urban centers, minimizing shortages and ensuring every building was supplied. With modern materials and a Roman design, these systems would be more sustainable, reducing the need for extensive plumbing repairs. Roman architecture, known for its arches and domes, would have also taken modern buildings to new levels. Their concrete structures have lasted for thousands of years, all thanks to volcanic ash in their mix. Imagine if Roman concrete technology had continued to evolve. Today, bridges, skyscrapers, and public buildings would be built to last hundreds of years, possibly even longer than today's constructions. They might even have created massive superstructures, blending practicality with elegance. Our cities would be defined by durable, monumental designs with sturdy concrete that withstands earthquakes, floods, and time. Imagine the design of modern stadiums, government buildings, and even malls influenced by the grand, open forums of Rome. Picture huge public squares where people gather and buildings lined with columns, giving a sense of unity and power. Theaters might resemble Rome's Colosseum, where entertainment becomes an experience shared by massive audiences. It's likely that if Rome's engineers were still creating our cities, we'd see far more open spaces, beautiful but functional forums, and roads that truly lead us where we need to go. Art and literature. The Romans adored their art and literature. They built statues and monuments to immortalize their achievements, leaders, and gods. If the empire still stood, every public space might have sculptures inspired by the Roman style, and literature would be rich. Roman literature gave us epic tales, poetry, and philosophical writings that shaped Western culture. Latin writers like Virgil, Ovid, and Cicero left their mark on history. Imagine if Latin storytelling continued to thrive. We might have had more epics, myths, and dramas carried down through time, each story adding to the vast library of human experience. Maybe schools would teach these stories, and our entertainment, from novels to movies, would echo themes of honor, fate, and glory in true Roman fashion. Roman-inspired literature would also focus on virtues, moral lessons, and history. Imagine if Latin poetry, for instance, were a part of our daily lives, with its rich, flowing language taught widely in schools and woven into our cultural mindset. Language and communication. In a world where Rome never fell, Latin might be as universal as English is today. Imagine if Latin was our global language, spoken by leaders, academics, and the public alike. Communication between countries would be smooth, with people from different continents able to connect in the same language. With its structured grammar and classical sound, Latin could have shaped how we communicate, making language a bridge rather than a barrier. Our vocabulary would be filled with Latin roots. It already is. Words like president, senate, and constitution all have Latin roots. But in this world, Latin would go beyond just vocabulary. This ancient language might influence the very structure of our sentences and the way we construct ideas. Latin would have shaped our thoughts, encouraging clarity, brevity, and precision. The Roman alphabet, too, would have been a constant. Most modern languages use it thanks to Rome's legacy. If Rome endured, every country would likely use the same alphabet, creating a cohesive global culture. Writing systems would be simplified, and text-based communication like emails, documents, and books would all carry the mark of Roman influence, making global education, business, and governance easier to navigate. Law and government. The Romans were also pioneers in developing a structured legal system, a foundation we still use in parts of the world today. Roman law emphasized clear rules, fairness, and a system that respected citizens' rights. If the Roman Empire still existed, its legal principles would likely dominate globally, affecting everything from local courts to international treaties. This legal system would set the stage for how disputes are handled, starting with what the Romans called ius gentium, or law of nations, laws that applied to everyone regardless of their origin. Picture a world where one universal set of Roman-inspired laws governs everyone rather than multiple systems across countries. In this world, legal professionals, judges, and lawmakers might study Roman legal texts as the ultimate guidebook for justice. Courts worldwide would likely follow similar structures, emphasizing fair trials, structured appeals, and established rights for all citizens. And let's not forget the government. Rome was known for its organized administrative systems which balanced power across the empire through centralized authority and regional governors. Imagine if today's world ran on a similar centralized system, with an imperial senate at its head, a Roman-style senate that oversaw global matters. Picture representatives from every corner of the world, gathering under one roof, like a modern Roman senate, to discuss issues affecting humanity. Each province or country would send officials to address matters of trade, environmental challenges, and conflict resolutions. This might remind us of international organizations like the United Nations, but with much stronger centralized authority. If Rome's influence lived on, governance would likely combine regional independence with the Roman style of centralized order. Religion. Religion in a modern Roman Empire would look quite different from what we know today. Before Christianity took hold, Rome was deeply polytheistic, with gods and goddesses for nearly every aspect of life. The Romans even welcomed other religions into their empire, adapting and absorbing various beliefs. So, if Rome were still around today, it's possible we'd see a rich, diverse tapestry of religious beliefs coexisting under an open-minded Roman umbrella. Christianity, however, changed the empire's religious landscape dramatically when it became the state religion in the 4th century. In a world where Rome continued to thrive, Christianity might have evolved differently, with more profound Roman influence blending into its practices. Imagine churches styled like Roman temples with grand columns and intricate mosaics. Over centuries, a more Romanized Christianity might emphasize unity and structured order, aligning with Roman ideals of discipline and governance. In this world, rather than splintering into many sects, a unified branch might serve as the dominant faith across the empire. Rome's focus on religious tolerance could even extend to the coexistence of religions, with temples and churches sitting side by side, creating a society that values multiple paths to spirituality. Currency and economy. With Rome still around, it's easy to imagine a single, stable currency spanning continents, a Roman dollar, if you will. Imagine a coin accepted everywhere, from bustling markets in Rome to distant trade posts in Asia. Instead of today's mix of currencies, this Roman coin would have immense buying power, symbolizing a stable economy with the empire at its heart. Trade, too, would be remarkable. The Romans were experts in creating trade networks, connecting the far reaches of Europe, North Africa, and Asia. Imagine today's world as an even more connected global economy, with routes stretching across oceans and continents, all centering on the Roman Empire. Goods like spices, silk, and precious metals would flow freely, enriching cultures along the way. Today, we rely on shipping routes and international trade organizations, but under a Roman-influenced world, there would be even stronger trade regulations ensuring fairness and efficiency. Names and cultural identity. People might name their children after emperors and philosophers, names like Augustus, Livia, and Marcus echoing through generations. Titles, too, would likely have a Roman influence. Political leaders might carry titles inspired by Roman ranks. Consul, praetor, or even emperor in certain high-ranking positions. And it's not just names and titles. The world would embrace a Roman sense of identity and pride. Every national celebration, every holiday might honor both Roman values and local traditions, blending cultures to celebrate a unified heritage. Every part of life, from education to economics, would reflect Rome's legacy, creating a society that values wisdom, structure, and connection. So, if Rome were still with us, how would our future look? Would we embrace this enduring empire, or would we seek even more? Let us know in the comments. And speaking of influence, check out our next video to explore another empire with a lasting impact. What if the Mayans still exist today? You won't want to miss it.